Hello guys. So today's the day. Cucumbers are finally big enough to look at for seed saving. So when cucumbers start to lose that kind of pokey quality on the outside, these are homegrown cucumbers I'm talking about, not store-bought right now. They will start also losing that green, and it'll start to turn into this weird kind of yellow. And then when they're really overly ripe, they really get yellow. You can see that. It's kind of weird, just have that yellow background, but maybe that'll show you a little more. So when they get to be like this, we know that they're really over-aged for fresh eating. So we're not going to eat these, but we are going to keep the seeds because we want to grow these cucumbers again. You don't need any fancy equipment to save seeds from cucumbers, and this works for all types of cucumbers that you grow in your own home or in your yard or your neighbor's yard, but they grow in your area. So split it in half. I'm not going to put the knife all the way through because it will cut the seeds. You know, you slice the knife through it, you'll cut seeds in half like these are. So we have quite a few seeds. You can see the seeds in here, and you can also see, I'm going to need to cut this one a little bit though, I'm going to go high though. The seeds are in this gelatinous, see that? Kind of gelatinous material. Jumper. So you can technically take these, put them on a paper towel and let them dry out. But because of this gelatinous material, some of these are going to rot if you do it that way. So what we do with seeds that come like this, cucumber and tomatoes are another biggie, is we're just going to take them out of the cucumber and just use your fingers or a spoon. There's no reason to go get fancy tools, and just put it right in the jar. I'm using a flexible cutting board so I can pick it up later and just scoop everything into the jar. And what we're going to do is another fermentation. This is a super easy one though, no salt is required. We're just going to leave these seeds in this jar and it'll start to ferment, and the seed will get freed from this gelatinous material. On the outside, seeds will float to the bottom, gelatinous material will float to the top, and then we'll be able to save these seeds on paper toweling for next year. So because this skin is turned, we've taken all the seeds out that we easily can get out that are in one piece. This is now to the compost pile or fed to the animals. So this was a smaller one. Got some seeds. Go ahead and add those in. But let's take a look at this monster. I mean, look how big that is, right? So I'm going to take the end off, take the other end off, just so I can kind of play with it, manipulate it in a way that it's not going to come over and break my fingers. I'm going to just cut the top off. Too, I want to see how deep the seeds are because I don't want to cut through all those beautiful seeds. I'm just going to try my thumb at it. I'm just going to take my thumb through, break it open any way you want. You can cut through it. I mean, it's not going to be that big of a deal. And then I'm going to get a better camera angle for you. I'm just going to go down and swipe to the jar as much as I can. Let's crack it open. Sometimes you need to do cantaloupe this way if there's a lot of gunk in there, but mostly squash seeds you can just scoop right out. Different seeds do definitely different techniques, right? So let's take a look at this one. A lot of seeds in this side. Take a look at all that. Kind of green in there, isn't it? Interesting. So you can pick the cucumber too. You don't have to get the seeds out of it the same day. You can pick it, throw it in your fridge, leave it out on the counter. You just don't want the cucumber itself to start going bad, because if it does, then the seeds potentially can go bad, get moldy or whatever. All right, so let's take out the middle, put the seeds inside. So we've been at this, what, like 5 minutes? And now we probably have a couple hundred seeds in here. So what I'm going to do now is clean up the rest of these seeds. I'll put a top on the jar, give it a little shake, and then I'm going to put it on the counter, and I'm going to look at it every day to see when these separate. But I'm going to take you guys along for the ride so you can see that as well. So next time you see me, we'll be checking this. Hi you guys. So it's been a couple days on our cucumber, and I don't know if you can see, but on the bottom of the jar seal, how all the seeds are settling to the bottom. Some are still floating though. You can see them up in here. That's on the outside of the jar. So we're just going to give it maybe one more day, and then we'll drain off the goop and put the seeds on a paper towel to dry. So the fermentation has begun. So every day I just make sure the lid's kind of tight, give it a couple shakes, set it down, open up the top to give it a burp if there's any CO2 or anything bubbling away in there, and then I just let it sit. So tomorrow we'll put it out on a paper towel. Thanks. Alright, so we've got some more overripe cucumbers, so we're going to save seeds from those as well, but the one that we've been fermenting, you can see the seeds have mostly fallen to the bottom, and there's a few floating up in here, but chances are that they're not the best quality seed in the world. So what we're going to do is strain that, pour this off, clean them real quick, and then put them on this paper towel, which I've already marked, to dry. So let's go over to the sink. I'll just pop the lid off. Then I'm just going to pour the top layer off very slowly and gently. And I don't think you can see this, but I can. I can see the seed starting to come forward. That's a gunk. Alright. So I'm going to pop the seeds with the gunk in there. And now I'm going to give it a blast. And so what you can see after that is I do still have some of that gunk, but I can easily just take that out. I have left over our nice clean seeds. Sorry for the motion. Back you up, and then this is my technique. I just flip it over fast. Cleans that out pretty well. Spread my seeds out. Get any more leftover gunk, which is not much since we poured most of it off. It's a lot easier. And if some dries there, that's no big deal either. And then once this is all dried, very dry, we'll go ahead and put this together, fold it up, and then put it into a bag until next year. So let the drying begin.